All right. Welcome to the Richard B. Morning Show, and in particular to the Big Story segment. Now, the U.S. has introduced a new visa integrity fee of some $250 US for non-immigrant visas, including tourist, student, and work visas under the Big Beautiful Law, as it's being referred to. This fee will be collected by the Department of Homeland Security and will be refunded if the visa holder complies with their visa terms and departs the U.S. on time. Immigration advocates and lawyers are in fact commenting on this matter. They believe the fee could have a significant impact on Jamaicans traveling to the United States of America, including students, business people, athletes, and just regular Jamaicans who are visiting family and friends. We have with us this morning to help us to look in a deeper way at this matter, well-known immigration attorney based in the United States of America, the hard-working Opal Lee, as my guest. Good morning, Miss Lee, and how are you doing today?
Good morning, Richard B. and good morning to all those wonderful listeners. I'm doing well, and I hope the same for you.
All right. The same is true for me. Thank you so much for joining us once again. You have quietly become our go-to person on any matter to do, on so many matters, including immigration, which is your specialty. And we thank you for always accommodating us. So, Opal, do you believe that this is will have a significant impact on Jamaicans who want to get into the United States of America?
You know, I know that the Trump administration is putting this in as a deterrent. But if I'm going to be brutally honest, some people find the 250, and if they really intend to run off Richard B. or violate the terms of their visa, I'm not sure this $250 will have that much of an impact. Mm-hmm. Because, one of the main things that this bill is trying to do, Richard B., is trying to make sure if you're entering on a visa, you're supposed to return home and especially not to work. And I believe if some people are going to be doing the math, they say, $250, where I could maybe for the month make, $800, $900, let me do the math here. So that's for some people. Mm-hmm. Maybe not the majority, but some people will do that math. Right?
Yes.
However, for most people, it's very difficult, Richard B., for them to even find $185 US right now for a visiting visa application, much less to be added this $250. And by the way, I should say the bill actually says the fee is $250 or a higher amount set by the Secretary of Homeland Security. And it also states that starting 2026, the fee will increase annually based on inflation. So it's not really at 250. There's some room there for the increase, and I think that actually will have a dire effect on most people who just they couldn't even find the money for the regular visiting visa application. And another thing to note is that you don't get the fee, you don't get this back, for example, if you enter and you return on this one trip, and then you return again. Remember, sometimes you've maybe got a 10-year visiting visa. You don't get this back until the visa actually expires. So we're talking about maybe 10 years from now.
Really?
Really? You're getting back this $250.
I was of the view that it's when the trip was complete and you're back home and they're incentivizing that. But no, you're saying it's when the visa expires?
Expires. Yes, that's what the bill actually says. It says on the expiry of the visa. As a matter of fact, it says, you only qualify for refund if you fully comply with the terms of your non-immigrant, no unauthorized employment, no immigration violations, and yes, it's at the expiry of the visa, not of the one trip.
Yes. Wow.
Because think about it. If you think about it rationally, what if you got that visa and then you return home after one trip, right? And you're still good for another 9.5 years.
Yes.
Why would they give you back that $250 and then in the next 9 years you violate?
Got you. So the process of refund for visa holders, is it something that they would need to apply for, or is it automatic that they would maybe get it sent to their address on file? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. We as immigration practitioners are trying to figure this out because honestly, we don't believe that it makes a lot of sense because we're not very confident, and I'm speaking for myself and some of my colleagues, we're not very confident that the administration, any administration that comes in, that they'll be so proactive to just know that automatically. Because remember, they're going to have to figure out, okay, did the person apply for an extension? Because by the way, that's one exception. So if you were given 6 months, but because for reasons, beyond your control or so, you have had to extend it by filing the I-539, even though you had overstayed technically that 6 months, you are eligible for that refund if you had filed the proper documentation to extend, right? So I'm thinking, is this administration after 10 years going to go through every single application and wonder if this person had really done the right thing, had they extended, for example. And I think I definitely don't think it's going to be automatic because you're going to go through millions of applications, millions of visas per year.
Do you think this fee has the potential to influence persons who want to pursue education in the U.S., trying to further their careers, even on family visits? It might have that any impact negatively?
Absolutely. I mean, I can already tell that, as I said before, most people couldn't even find the basic application fee or the regular application fee. Now with this, they're going to be stating that, listen, I can't find that. How am I going to find this extra $250? And not only just the financial, I think a lot of people just look at it as, you know what, they don't want me there. So maybe I should go somewhere where I'm wanted it to be. And so not only the financial setback, but just maybe the emotional, just to know that they're putting this as a deterrent. Why are you, if I'm coming for educational basis or because I have these educational skills, why should I give it to a country that's putting up all these bars to it? So they could look at it that way as well.
Ms. Lee, are there any potential exemptions or waivers, to the best of your knowledge, for certain individuals or groups, such as, humanitarian or diplomatic visa holders? Any exemptions that you're aware of?
No, not really, because it basically states that you can't even do a fee waiver. By the way, for this category, there's absolutely no fee waiver available. I guess maybe as it's usually the case, they would say a case-by-case basis, but they've made it very clear in this bill that you can't even apply for a visa waiver. And I don't really see for humanitarian basis this being a factor because, even though we're talking about here on the integrity bill, the non-immigrant visa integrity bill, there are other fees as well, Richard, that were actually affected as well. For example, even the humanitarian parole, for example, that right now the fee is $600, I believe it's $630. That is stated to increase to, I think it's $1,000. So, and that's a humanitarian. Even for an asylum, people fleeing persecution. Right now the fee is $0, and to get a work permit on based on an asylum, the fee was $0. Right now it's $100 per asylum application, and annual renewal, you have to pay $100 each year, and if you want a work permit, you have to pay $550. So even on those humanitarian bases, which would be an answer to your question, the fees have actually increased.
Oh, wow!
Right now it was $0, and now it's increased.
And yet they're calling it the big
bill. It was $630 for the parole. Now it's $1,000 for the parole.
Yeah. No,
go ahead.
But they're still referring to it as the big, beautiful bill.
For some people. Remember, there are people who voted for this, and they're happy. They're jubilant.
Yeah.
And so to them, it's big and beautiful.
Big and beautiful for them. You're an immigration attorney. I mean, your clients who come to see you now, how are you going to help tell them? What are you going to tell them in terms of how they ought to sort of navigate the new fee structure and ensure compliance with these new visa terms? You'll have to have some serious conversations with your clients, I suspect.
Absolutely. And, we do have an office in Jamaica where we do most of our non-immigrants. And as we have always said even before this, we always advocate that they do not, it's just not worth it. I've always told people that, listen, if you apply for a visa and you don't get it, just don't do anything fraudulent or go through the border or anything, because later on it's going to affect you negatively. You know how they say one day, your time will come. So maybe even if you've been turned down 5 times, 6 times, do it the right way, because at one time you did something fraudulently or tried to go through the border or do something you could maybe have a family member later on. You could find love, and somebody now wants to file for you. Where it would have been maybe a year, you'd have gotten a green card, but for that one fatal mistake that you made, where you listened to a friend or somebody else and said, "I did it, let me switch up this visa or switch up this page or this photo or something like that," and you have now messed up yourself, maybe for life. And so it's just not worth it. So I've always stated that, even to my clients right there in Jamaica, that let's just do it the right way. And if you get this visa, it's actually a privilege. You don't have a right to a visiting visa. If you get this, please use it wisely. Do not. There's other things. If you want to work in the United States, there are other pathways that we could assist you in getting a work visa. This visiting visa, honor it, treasure it, protect it, put it in a safe, guard it, and just do the right thing. Visit your family members. It's better to be able to go back and forth for 10 years more than to run off, quote unquote, in a country and then be looking behind you and be treated like, a third-class citizen in the United States. It's really not worth it, because then you're going to be looking at, of course, you see how the Trump administration has just been removing people. The mandate was 3,000 people per day that they want to detain. Why would you want this for you when you could be sitting in your beautiful island of Jamaica and just having the pleasure of visiting? It's just not worth it.
Yeah. To that I say, a word to the wise is sufficient. I thank you for the information you shared with us and the thoughts as well this morning, Opal, and I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you again.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you.
All right.